Hello everyone. Today I'll take the poet Kamla Das. She is a remarkable and eminent personality whose name shines brightly in the field of Indian writing in English and Indian poetry written in English language. So today we will take the introduction part. Uh, she was born in Thrissur, Malabar coast, that is now in Kerala, British India. So she was an Indian author who wrote openly and frankly about female desires and the experience of being an Indian woman. Her name was Madhvi Kutti. So I have told you we have taken the poems of Indian writers in English, and this poem, which we will take after the introduction of Kamla Das, My Grandmother's House. So this poem reflects her love for his for her grandmother. So she was a part of a generation of Indian writers whose work centered on personal rather than colonial experience. And her short stories, poetry, memoirs, and essays, they brought her respect in equal respect, as well as some of the critics denounced her poetry also. So Das wrote both in English under the pen name Madhvi Kutti, as well as in the Malayalam language of southern India. So, I'm going to tell you something about her family. So, Das was born in a high status family. Her mother, Nalapat Balamani Amma, she was a well known poet, and her father, V.M. Nair, he was an automobile company executive and a journalist. She grew up in what is now Kerala and in Calcutta, that is now in Kolkata, where her father worked. She began writing poetry when she was a child. So now I'm going to tell you some the we can say that she was 15 years old when she was married, when she got married, and that marriage was by force. She was married uh, to Madhva Das, a banking executive, many years her senior, and then they moved to Bombay, that is now Mumbai. And she had three sons, and she started writing at night time because she was not happy. So that this marriage, it was totally a failure. She was not at all happy in her marriage. So she started writing poems. Das's poetry collection, if we talk about Das's poetry collection, then it included Summer in Calcutta, The Descendants, The Old Playhouse, and the other poems. And she has written a novel also, Alphabet of Lust. And she has written short stories, A Doll for the Child Prostitute, and Padmavati the Harlot. So, her works, they are very remarkable, and one of the most remarkable work is My Autobiography. So this first appeared as a series of columns in weekly a paper, and then in Malayalam, and finally it appeared in English as My Story. So if we talk about her work, My Story, it was a shockingly intimate work where she expressed all the naked realities of her life, and she confessed everything. She confessed all the things, that how she always craved love from her father. She always missed, how she badly missed her grandmother, and how she craved the love from different people after outside her marriage. And so in later life, Das said that parts of her book were fictional. So now if we talk about the later life of Kamla Das, then in 1999 she controversially converted to Islam and she renamed herself Kamla Suraya. She received many literary awards, including the Asian World Prize for Literature in 1985. I again repeat her most important works. uh, Alphabet of Lust, that was her novel. Her Malayalam work was Thanapu, and she has written her autobiography that is named My Story. Then her poetry collection, The Descendants, The Old Playhouse, and other poems. A Doll for the Child Prostitute, It's a Story, and Padmavati the Harlot. So, so she has written biography, she has written autobiography. So, uh, so in the same manner, if we talk about the chief feature of Kamala Das's poetry, then it can be called that she is a confessional poet because she has truly confessed everything about her life without feeling any kind of shame and hesitation. So, in the poem, means in her poem, she has expressed the outpouring of her longing and yearning. And the greatest achievement lies in the ability to articulate human experience. So, Kamla Suraya, she composed most of her poetry in English, and her fiction appeared under the pen name Madhavi Kutti, and it was written in her native Malayalam. So, her best known work, if we talk about her best known work, it was her autobiography. And in her poetry collection and introduction, she presents herself as a woman and expresses her sensibility. In her poetry, she revolts against the society in a confessional mood. She voices the pain of women in general. Her poems they articulate the anguish of the victim of the gender bias who are denied their need of emotional and intellectual fulfillment. So, if we talk about, I'm going to tell you that for what her work is known for. So, her works are known for their originality, versatility, and then kind of a flavor of the Indian soil. So, she has not deserted the Indianness. She has published many novels, and Kamala Das, she had spent some time at her parents' home, and sometime she is on her way back. So that was the mixed time spent. So in the she has written some poems that relates her love for grandmother. She had shared deep affection with her grandmother, and her poetry shows intense love and attachment to it. And she suffers an acute sense of alienation after having left this place after her marriage. So the this alienation, it is also a theme of modern poetry because she is expressing her pain of alienation, and she is reminded of her grandmother's house where she spent her memorable childhood. So this way alienation is another theme of her poetry, and her poetry is also confessional, it's autobiographical, and she's well known of her confessional writings, and she has all the time been disparaged for her extreme honesty and as well as commonness other than. So the comprehensive investigation of her poetic works demonstrate how she has attained her objective in presenting the genuine portrait of women in male dominated world. So in her poetry we can feel the emotional pain and the kind of trauma that the poet feels because of this realization that her mother has gone old. So this way her poetry, it symbolizes, it's a critique on a woman's desire. I hope you have all got about the poet Kamla Das. Thank you.